Hello! One great way to learn how the pieces move, and not the least to understand the strength of the different pieces, is to play mini-games with few pieces on the board. Today I will give you the bishop and pawns game, and this is played on an empty board, but you have to put out the pieces like this. You put out a white bishop on f1 and then 3 black pawns on a7, b7 and c7. In chess we have a system of points, and one pawn is worth 1 point and a bishop is worth 3 points. And as black has got 3 pawns, that means we have armies of 3 against 3. The rules are like in normal chess, but the bishop will win if it can take all the 3 pawns. Black will win if one pawn reaches the other side safely. And what do I mean with that? Well, let's take a look. In this position, it is black to move, and you can see that the black pawn will reach b1. But the bishop is ready to take the pawn on b1 immediately after it's reached the other side, and that means that white will win this game. Okay, when you play this type of mini-games, it's a great thing to have a strategy. And to have a strategy, first you need to understand in what positions do the bishop win against the pawns and when will the pawns win the game. And if you can identify these type of positions where the bishop is, for example, in this position, is dominating the pawns, you have the ability to find a strategy. Because in this position, it doesn't matter if it's white to move, because the bishop has got this great diagonal control. So maybe white plays bishop to e6. In each of the following 3 moves, the bishop will take 1 pawn like this. You can see white will win. For black, the strategy is to reach the other side with 1 pawn. And that means that sometimes you can sacrifice a pawn just to make a clear road for another one. In this position, it seems like as if white is dominating the 3 black pawns, because if it's black to move, white will take a pawn in the next move. But by sacrificing, for example, the c pawn with c2, the bishop has to take it, then the pawn on the a file will have a clear road down to a1, and it's not possible for the bishop to stop the pawn from reaching a1 safely. Time to make a summary of the bishop and the pawns game. The bishop and the pawns game, white bishop should be placed on f1, black pawns should be placed on a7, b7 and c7. White starts the game as always in these mini-games, just like in normal chess. The bishop wins if it takes all the black pawns. The pawns win if one pawn reaches the other side safely. So, it's a great game this, and I will show you one little puzzle you can have just to show you the depth that this simple game can have. Take a look at this position. This is the starting position, and now it's white plays bishop to g2, threatening to take the pawn on b7. What do you think? Is the best black move to play b6 like this, or to play c6 like this? Well, here it is possible to give the kids or to the players who are about to play this game this kind of puzzle and ask them this question and let them analyze the position arising. Because if you play b6, white has got a very strong move in bishop c6, and now there is a forced variation because, of course, after a5, the bishop can go to d7. After c5, the bishop can go to b5. And now it's not possible for black to make any move without losing a pawn. Even so, you need to analyze a bit further on, like a4, bishop take a4, c4, bishop b5, threatening the pawn. He needs to play the pawn to c3, Bishop goes to d3. Only move now is the pawn to b5. And now the white bishop cannot take the pawn on b5, but the idea of domination is occurring on the board. After b4, the white bishop goes to b3, c2, bishop take, and then you take the last pawn. You can see a lot of moves ahead you have to calculate, but it's possible to do this if you really get deep into this kind of position. So this minigame seems very simple, doesn't it? But also for advanced players it can be interesting to try to find out what is the best way to proceed when you start to play this simple game. Bye!